Welcome. Entry number 6. Left off. Left off at my exit of foster care. So what's going to happen here is I'm going to get into a little bit about Samoa. I went to a program in Western Samoa. I was 16 years old. I arrived approximately first couple weeks of October 1997. So what had happened is I got back home from foster care and was a mess. I know I got into some trouble trying to steal alcohol, numerous other things I can't specifically remember. I was headed down the wrong road. I ended up at a rehab center, actually at the same hospital that my mother worked at. And I'm not going to try and put together any specific timeline here. Basically, during that short stay at the rehab, I had some kind of a nervous breakdown. I remember trying to leave in defiance. Fell apart in a ditch right across the road from the place. It started bawling my eyes out, and once again, I am waiting for mommy to come rescue me. And I think she was just at the point where she didn't know what else to do. I wouldn't do anything she told me to. So still, I was looking for her to come save me, though, and I ended up running into the front door of the med-surg unit where she was working. Just a mess, and tears and crying, and they put me in a hospital room. It was a big drama scene, really. I don't remember a whole lot, but I do remember that I could have stopped the whole charade any moment I wanted to, but I was carrying on. Anyway, I got myself pulled together, back into my room at the rehab, and the next day my mother approached me and told me about this program. It was a boys program, she said, and it was way over in the South Pacific, in the tropics, in the region of Guam, I suppose. She kind of related it to. I know and knew at the time enough about geography. See, as I was growing up, my stepdad, an extremely intelligent man. He was a teacher. I was more of the rough and tumble, want to go fast, just outdoorsy type. So we did get along in terms of the outdoors type. We definitely had some differences there. But the point there was just that he made me learn the things that I had questions about. I didn't just get the answers. So I knew approximately where she was talking about and where she was talking about this place was, and I was, of course, oh yeah, the jungle and the Polynesian islands. I was thrilled, and I think she knew I would be. At the time, I don't think she or anyone else really knew what I was getting into or where I was actually going. So anyway, she presented me with the option, and I, of course, was like, heck yeah, I'll go. And I'll just add this here. I probably would have been taken whether I wanted to go or not. Even if I had said no, chances are within the next few days I would have been kidnapped. No, I can't say kidnapped. I would have been apprehended by some escorts through the company, and they would have taken me. They would have taken me down to St. George, Utah. Brightway Adolescent Hospital is where I went. I went voluntarily, so that whole other scenario wasn't part of my story. I definitely heard plenty of them. One kid went through the airport hogtied. with zip ties on a luggage cart to get him onto the plane. And other stories similar to that. I, I don't. My mother, I don't. My mother didn't trick me. She didn't. I don't think she understood quite what was going on. So anyway, I went quite voluntarily down to Brightway Adolescent Hospital. I mean, we had this big leaving kind of, not party, but I had a list of stuff I had to bring, mask and snorkel and flippers and just all this stuff that was like I was going to like this Polynesian tropical retreat. I mean, is the way it made it. She made it sound the way they made it sound to her. So anyway, I spent some time at the hospital in Utah, and that was primarily for getting my passport taken care of, make sure my shots were up to date, plane tickets, transport, all that kind of stuff. Making an arrangement so I can actually get to the facility over in Samoa. I think I spent about 2 weeks there, and it was pretty apparent immediately that this was not going to be fun when I got to Brightway. The staff were intentionally disrespectful and rude. There was no physical abuse, but they did as much as they could to make us as miserable as possible. And in retrospect, I can say this because I understand now kind of what they were doing. They were trying to get us at least a little bit prepared for what we were about to get into. So the food was absolutely terrible. I think they made it a point to make it as horrible as possible, given what they could bring into their facility based on health regulations and what they were required to serve us. But they definitely made it taste bad on purpose. I don't remember a whole lot about. I remember that it was really, it was really scary. I didn't know what I was doing. The beds were, I don't know, kind of imagine some sort of sci-fi children's, I don't know, testing facility at some hospital or something is kind of what it felt like. The bunks were hard and plain, and you had no stuff. It was just your tub that was taped up and ready to go on the plane when you left, and everything else was, sweatsuits and robes that they gave you when you were there. I mean, it was just, So anyway, I'm going to try and wrap this up, this first little segment. The last day there, they kept us up with pizza and soda pop and movies and very, very kind behavior and friendliness, and just, the purpose of it was to get us just completely wired and exhausted and keep us up for so many hours so that they could transport us over to the airport in, I believe, Reno, and then fly us to LAX. And the point of that was if they got us tired enough, we wouldn't try to run away once they got us out of the facility, because it was pretty well locked down. Anyway, that was it. It was rough. It was scary. I really still was pretty oblivious to what was about to happen to me. And I'll fill you in the rest on the next one. So tune in.